This is Frank Skinner. This is
Absolute Radio.
This is Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio with Emily Dean and Alan Cochrane. You can text the show on 81215, follow the show on Twitter and Instagram at Frank on the Radio, or email the show via the Absolute Radio website. We'd love you to do one or all of those things, because interaction in 2021 is everything. Wouldn't you say so, guys?
Well,
Yeah.
You say, guys, there's only one of us in the actual room with you, Frank.
Yeah, we've got Al down the line.
Down the line.
Which I quite like, because I was really hoping Al would be in his dressing gown, but he tells me he's in a tracksuit, which is...
I like down the line. It's very what sort of Mike Reid would have said on the swap shop in the 80s.
Exactly.
They got you down the line, Ian Botham?
It is, or a football phone-in of some kind. It feels a bit like that.
Yeah.
I hope it'll be better than that. I've been listening to football phone-ins for, I would say, 50 years, and I've never heard anyone who's phoned in say anything that has added to my treasure chest of football knowledge and insight.
I feel very exhausted after I listen to them. Everyone gets angry.
It's just...
I'm feeling I've set the bar too low for myself now.
No, it's going to be all right. I remember a bloke... I used to listen to the BRMB, the Birmingham one, quite a lot, and a bloke went mad about the fact that Andy Gray, the Villa player, was playing so well and still not being picked for England. And the bloke let him go on for about 3 minutes before he said, "He's Scottish, Paul." Very cruel. You know, nearly enough rope, yes, enough rope. And then in
Poor Paul.
It was difficult times. So I wasn't, we didn't have a live show last week, and I know some people texted and went online. Some people went online with their concerns.
Went on the interweb. Oh, please don't say that.
Yeah.
We did have loads of people asking, Frank, why is there no, Tommy Ward, why is there no podcast this week? I was looking forward to the show. Lou Boyce, I've been panicking that the creeks had risen. I trust all is well.
Well, all right, Wardy. I'll put you right. Basically, what happened was last Friday I had
Shane got recommissioned, Series 2.
No, yes, and I've been having some mood meetings with ITV. I don't know if ITV have mood meetings. I think they probably consider that a bit fancy.
Yeah.
I think they mainly talk about where the Toblerone ad fits. But anyway, so I got the call for my vaccination.
Yeah.
Which I know is something that only old people get. But anyway, I got that. So I went along to it was a basketball court in North London.
Was it?
Where they'd set up a few cubicles. Yeah. I'll tell you something about it. There was an element of... There was a lovely British team spirit about the whole... There was lots of volunteers there. And they'd say, "Go to that lady over there and she'll tell you where to sit and stuff." And this lady was waving an actual flag. Now, none of the others had flags. And I thought, oh, God bless this woman. She's bought in her own flag. To be easier
Did she, Frank?
noticed.
I imagine there was a lot of lovely pensioners, volunteers, wearing T-shirts over shirts. That's what I'm hoping.
There was it wasn't the sort of... It wasn't... They had... I think they might have been doing that. Yeah. They didn't have, nylon wigs and shaking buckets.
No, I'm thinking more Tory councillor at a jumble sale.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a good image.
Yeah.
That's very good. I've got it completely wrong. I'd pictured them all in basketball singlets ready for the jab in their arm.
No, they were... the volunteers, it really... It was like London 2012 again. It really felt like people who were... we're doing our bit. And then I found out this morning that Faye, our assistant producer, is one of those. Not in my bit of London, but she's a volunteer as well. Oh, I must ask her about her flag. Unfortunately, this woman went for the American Confederate flag, which...
Problematic.
You could tell people they wanted to broach the subject, but they couldn't quite work out how to bring it up, what with her being a volunteer as well. So there is more to this story, and I'll give it you after this. But I love to share.
Frank Skinner on
Absolute Radio.
I haven't told you I drove a 1960s mourner's car. You know, those big, not actually a hearse, but a mourner's car, which belonged to a friend of mine, a comic called Malcolm Hardy, and he had me as his driver. I think he was banned from driving, or he just wanted to get drunk. And I drove it around London and up to Birmingham and wherever a few times for him. And I think she purchased that mourner's car, Faye Preston.
Oh, that would make sense.
Yeah, this is the show with the facts, which I always think is important. So I've looked up. I'm at the basketball court. I'm ready for me jab. Now, I'd been to my chiropodist that very week, and he'd had his jab. And he said to me, my left arm was completely dead for 2 days after I had it. And I thought, well, that's quite handy because I'm going hawking this weekend. And my gauntlet is at the dry cleaners. And so it can just land on the bare flesh this week. So I love it when things work out. So anyway, I went there, and the woman, when she did my jab, she didn't even ask. She went straight for the left arm. So I think she must have perhaps seen me write in the form or something, and just thought right-hander. Maybe that Albert Pierpoint, the former executioner thing, of being able to shake hands with a convicted murderer and guess his weight to within a couple of pounds. Maybe she had that kind of thing going on. Who knows?
Shout out to Albert Pierpoint's relative who listens to our show.
Who used to get in touch with us now and again.
Granddaughter, I believe.
Yeah, I mean, we haven't heard from her for long. Don't leave us hanging.
Oh, for goodness sake.
So anyway, so when I got there, I thought it'd be me and a lot of very, very old people. In fact, I thought it'd just be a lot of old people. There was some quite young women sitting there. And
but no offence, but it's all relative. I mean, what do you consider young now?
No, but I mean, like, you know, people in their 30s. And I'm thinking, you know, are these people who've got, like, contacts with the council? You know, like when I was...
that they have stuff going on that you don't know about.
Maybe, but I mean, when I was a youth, there were people who got on the bins, which was the dream job, to get on the bins, because you were finished by 11 o'clock in the morning.
Oh, yeah.
And it was always a bit suspicious that, you know, their Uncle Paul knew someone at the council house. And anyway, so I went in and I had me jab, and... I remember the woman said, "Are you all right with plasters?" And I thought, is that a thing now? Have you heard of that? Plasterology?
I've heard of people who...
but it's...
Sorry, Al. Over to our caller down the line.
Go on, Al.
No, not at all.
What was
I was going to say, it's the sort of thing that gets in the stories about people having to wear safety goggles for conkers, and now, you know, we've got people that are allergic to plasters. I can believe it's a thing.
I've never heard of it. I mean, if I have a jab, I want a little round plaster on the top of it. You know, I never normally use the circular plaster for any other purpose. So I had that. And
what about corns?
No. I get those sliced off. Anyway, well, let's not go. Yeah, I know.
8:18 on Absolute Radio.
So, forgive me if you've heard a lot of I've had my vaccine anecdotes just lately, because there's about 16 million anecdotes out there at the moment. But can I
interject? I do apologise, but Sally from Surrey has just said, just to set Frank's mind at rest on the jab age front, I'm 48 and off to get my jab at 8:40.
Yeah, well, my sister-in-law's been called in at 48. So now I think it's... I think there's a tombola at the centre of it. But that's all right. But anyway, it's a bit chilly and minus. I feel like the first two or three come out and it's interesting, and then it's, anyway, what else is on. But I'm getting to why I missed the show last week, and I'll tell you that after this, baby.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
I've had phase 1 of the Oxford AstraZeneca vaccine. It's in there.
Oh, excellent.
And I think I might be I've been a bit funnier this week than ever. Oh, I don't know. What if it turned out that the Oxford AstraZeneca made people a bit funnier? God, now what a great service to
Literally
the
a booster jab on whatever you...
Exactly. Whatever your main skill is.
And then you could go up to someone and say, have you not had your jab? Oh.
Yeah. Or if...
Sick burn.
Yeah, I'd just be me standing on street corners telling jokes to pensioners. And the vulnerable.
Sort of.
Actually, that's my gig.
What
That's
you
what my
do.
gigs are like, anyway.
we've got a bit of an update actually on the plaster question.
Oh yes.
245
Are you all right
has
with
texted.
plasters? Sorry, what was the number?
Yes, Frank at 245 has said, Frank, the problem with plasters is usually the latex in the glue. My sister has a latex allergy and it can be very serious, but latex-free plasters are readily available.
Oh. Well, I wasn't off.
Quote Frank Skinner, who knew?
Who knew that? Like, is that the difference? You know, the sort of, I remember when the waterproof plaster came out, and it was quite a big, it was a headline story. Because before that, they were made out of some sort of
changes.
cloth. I have. Oh, my God, yeah.
Well, that was during the Peasants' Revolt.
It was, yeah. I said to Wat Tyler, I said, what? He said, I was saying there's plasters, new plasters stuff coming out.
Cloth plasters.
Absolute Cloth, which is the name of, I think, our new channel on Absolute.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know what Absolute Cloth would be.
It does sound quite Middle Ages. They play music from the 13th century.
Perhaps it's all very emotional music, as in touching cloth. Sorry. Anyway.
Oh my God.
So I got home and I was quite excited. I'd had my vaccination, and then I started feeling a bit hot. And turns out there are side effects. So I had a temperature and I had a headache, and so that's why I wasn't here last week.
Yeah.
It was 24 hours. I was fine, but it was bad time, and I shouldn't have had it on a Friday.
Yeah.
My bad. But I tell you something, I woke up the next morning, so I didn't set the alarm. Sarah said, "Don't come in, you sound terrible." And I said, "That's never stopped me before."
Yeah.
And I didn't set the alarm on a Saturday morning, which is quite a big thing. And I woke up, and the first thing I did was put the test match on, England playing in India. And there was spectators at the test match. And I thought, oh my God, how long have I been asleep? Absolutely terrified. So the only other side effect, which lasted a couple of days, was when I was a kid, I used to put coins in my mouth because pockets were unreliable in those days. And I used to, and the taste of coins, I add that.
Oh,
for a
metallic
couple of days.
taste you had.
Yeah, but specifically of pre-decimal currency. That's how I describe it, which is lovely for the pensioners. Take them on a little stroll back. But so I'm phase one. I'm done, and I said to the woman, I touched my mask and said, "So I can chuck this now, can I?" And she didn't get the joke. Just trying to be light-hearted, in a medical context.
Yeah.
So it was a good thing.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
So, yes, have we heard from the nether regions?
Well, we've been discussing plasters. I'm pretending that didn't happen now. Okay. Rebecca Hall from Bristol.
Rebecca Hall from Bristol, yeah.
Has got in touch. My friend is very allergic to metal, other than gold.
Whoa, God, is that why they're getting rid of the statues?
Oh, that's what they all say. Oh, sorry, I'm allergic to any metal other than gold. Yeah, we all know that old excuse.
Darling.
Yeah. There's metal in plasters. I always used to threaten...
What you talking about, Willis? Is there really?
I always used to threaten that if she was mean, I'm liking the sound of Rebecca Hall.
Yeah.
I'd write something rude on her forehead with plasters when she was sleeping.
Goodness.
Because the skin comes up in very small red itchy bumps.
Oh, what I like is Rebecca's gone the extra mile with her unpleasantness. A lot of people would have just put plasters on her, and that would have been. With Rebecca, even when she removes them, she's scarred.
She's gone for the sun cream revenge, and then Rebecca also has a payoff. Which makes me like her even more. Re-gold. She's put an asterisk. A great excuse for her wealthy aunt to buy her a gold watch for her 21st.
Oh, my goodness. I feel we're in the midst of something here. A long rift.
The brothers Karamazov.
I hope Rebecca's friend isn't listening.
No. I shouldn't think she'll be up this stage. She'll be having someone fanning her with an enormous ostrich feather as she flicks through the tabloids reading about Kim Kardashian. Yeah. Anyway, I don't want to stereotype.
Indeed.
It's probably lovely.
Okay.
We've had a missive in from the outside world that I'm not sure I understand, and I'd like to run past you.
I wish if this is in Swedish. If this is in Swedish now, I'm going to be really impressed.
371 has texted. This morning I said to my girlfriend, "It's Frank in 10 minutes." Without skipping a beat, she said, "The inventor more interested in time? I've never been so proud of her."
Frank, that's it. Over to our correspondent thank you so much, Alan Cochrane. Over to our correspondent in the studio.
It's Frank in 10 minutes, and she said, "The inventor more interested in time."
Do you understand that?
I mean, I love it in that it sounds like a line from an avant-garde poem. But
yeah, I love it like a haiku, but not a joke.
Do they talk like that all the time, these two? What a great pair they are.
I love it, but I don't understand it. That's marriage for you.
Hey! I said hey! Well, if you could send us the key to that conversation, I'd love to, because it sounds, the fact that he was pleased with it, he's got it. There's always, Do you think some part of it was telepathic, which has not been included in the message?
I assumed it was a Doctor Who reference, Al, and obviously, you know.
Ooh, I watched a good episode.
You're married with a family, and you don't. That's not your area.
What did you watch, Al? Just out of.
Do you want to have this chat off air or on?
No.
It's up to you.
I want to have it on air. Just tell me I'm wrong.
It was a David Tennant one set in historical France. It was really good.
Was there some horrible, frightening metallic puppets in it?
Because if so, that could be any episode.
No. Yeah, he travelled with us.
Frank Skinner.
Absolute Radio.
We've had an answer on the joke that we didn't understand.
Oh, good.
371 has texted. Oh, actually, maybe I should recap the actual joke.
Yeah, I'd quite like to hear it again.
Oh, now I've lost it.
I think it bears repetition. Do you want me to? Move on and you can come back with it?
No, I found it.
Oh,
This morning I said to my girlfriend, "It's Frank in 10 minutes." Without skipping a beat, she said, "The inventor more interested in time. I've never been so proud of her." So we were puzzling, and now 371 has replied, "As in Frankenstein." Well, it was a monster of a pun for us. And then there's some praise.
More interested in time, Frankentime.
Oh, instead of Frankenstein, it's called Frankentime.
Frank in 10 minutes.
Oh, Frank in 10 minutes. So he's more interested in time. It was. I mean, I'll tell you what I like about it. I don't know how long you two have been together, but it suggests 371 that early stage when it's everything that they say, which I love it. Of course, what I find, the fact that you're boyfriend and girlfriend, I find strange is that you bumped into each other so early in the morning. How could that have happened? But no, I think that's lovely that you're on the same wavelength. I suggest that you commit to a long and vibrant relationship together. Because I'll tell you something, You can have the very beautiful, the very clever, the very kind, but you can't beat a good audience when it comes to sorting your partners out.
Wow.
I went for the challenge. I can win these over eventually. Still at it. Anyway, speaking of love, it was Valentine's Day last Sunday, as some of you may be aware. And so I did what I always do. I ordered a dozen red roses for my partner.
Yes, you're very good on that front, aren't you?
Yeah, I'm a fan of the dozen red roses. I think every event like that should just have one set present. That you get. I also got a very obscure electronic music magazine. But that we won't go into that. Anyway, so the red roses, I went into Flora. She was fine with it. And I went into Flora, and the red roses were sure enough delivered on Saturday.
Right.
And without the card.
Oh, no. Have you called your personal assistant?
Well, I mean, at first my thought was, that's terrible. They brought them on the wrong day and they haven't brought the card. And then my second thought was, what if these aren't mine? What if these are another dozen red roses?
What if they're intended for David Baddiel?
Yeah, it's possible. Unlikely. Anyway, I was very confused by it and a bit upset. I mean, I found myself thinking, what's the story into Flory? What's the story into Flory? Wouldn't you like to know? Everyone at home is singing that now. So then, about 3 hours later, another man turned up and he said, I've come to apologise. And he was holding the card from the flowers on the... it comes on a long stick. He was holding the stick with the card on it. And he said, I've come... He said, the stupid driver. I thought, all right. He said, the stupid driver forgot the card and brought the flowers on the wrong day. I said, I'm terribly sorry. And I said, well, don't worry about it. I was a bit upset, but I was so happy that he'd come and brought me the card. The next day, actual Valentine's Day, knock at the door, into Flora,
and
the original driver,
the OG,
open brackets, inverted commas, stupid, close inverted commas, close brackets. His words, not mine. Arrived with a dozen red tulips, a helium-filled heart-shaped balloon that said, I love you, and a chocolate heart, and a card from Interflora apologising for their mistake.
So Interflora got better stuff than you.
Yeah, in a way, yeah. I thought they'd pushed the boat. But remember I was talking on the show before about people who complained, and someone I knew who'd had a tin of sausages and beans, and there was only one sausage, so they resented the use of the plural.
Yeah.
And they'd written to the company and got 24 tins of sausages and beans. And I said, I wonder if that still happens. I feel now I'm in the 24 tins of sausages and beans category with this. Oh, I was so pleased. Love is in the air, every sight and every sound.
This is Frank Skinner. This is
Absolute Radio.
This is Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio with Emily Dean and Alan Cochrane. You can text the show on... I've got too much saliva. Hold it. You can text the show on 81215. Follow the show on Twitter and Instagram at Frank on the Radio. Email the show via the Absolute Radio website. It's your other option. I'll tell you what happened. I've got some chocolate raisins on the way. And since I've thought about it, my mouth is actually physically watering with anticipation. They are one of the best things.
I'm sorry you're missing out on those, Al, although wasted on me, as you know, because, they don't, shall we say they don't agree with me? And leave it there.
Yeah, let's leave it there.
Okay.
I have the mouth-watering thing when I think of lime pickle. You know, the...
Oh, really?
Curry side.
Oh, my God.
It's a pickle.
Ow, my mouth just watered when you said that.
It's great, isn't it?
I've taken to having it on things like chicken sandwiches and stuff like that.
You haven't.
I have. Works
I
great.
love it.
Yeah,
Amazing.
a little sense of the East. When you're having a chicken sandwich, something more domestic. There's no harm in that.
Something different.
Of course, I still
Very
maintain that
clever.
nobody outside of an Indian restaurant can make a nice poppadom.
Oh yeah.
You get the sort of glazed with fat when people make them. I've been to people's houses and they're saying, "Oh, I'm doing curry tonight. I've never made poppadoms," and there's tiny little, like, you know, when you walk across a beach when the tide has withdrawn and looking for little crabs and things. There's like that. There's little pools of fat sitting in the indentations. Terrible. Whereas dry as a bone. In an
There's
Indian
something
restaurant.
very joyful, though, about the condiment outside of context. Mint jelly, just some mint jelly.
I'll tell you something
Oh,
I've started
come on.
doing in later life is putting mint sauce on anything I damn well fancy. So I'll put mint sauce on chicken or anything.
Yeah.
God,
Good for you.
brilliant. Mint sauce can turn the nastiest of things into a nice meal.
Well,
There
I
you
know
go.
you're not a fan of vegetables, but here's a little top tip. You're not either.
Well,
Here's a
I
top
don't mind
tip from Alan
vegetables.
Cochrane.
Salad, I don't like. Go on, top tip, Alan Cochrane. I wish we got a jingle for this. Hold on, what about this? In the midst of cockerel. See what you think. Go on, here it comes.
Top tip, and a genuinely good way of getting children to eat some side salad is
Caning?
cherry tomatoes. Cherry tomatoes chopped up, cucumber chopped up, stir in some mint sauce. Delicious.
Goodness.
Lovely.
That is the worst thing I ever heard. Wow, that's I didn't see
I
that
hope you try
coming.
it.
That's left field there, Al's
good.
culinary
That's left
tip.
field from the young Mancunian.
I love a left field culinary
Who's neither young nor manky.
tip.
I know, but we don't let those details bother us. Frank, there's something I would like to discuss with you.
Oh, go on then.
Al, there's something
Yeah.
I'd also like to discuss with you.
Well, I think we've got it all set up, considering the three of us are on a radio show.
Good. Did you get a copy of Heat magazine this week, Alan Cochrane?
No, I didn't. Mine's
Okay.
late.
Oh, well, I did. And when I was reading through Heat Secret Crush, my attention turned to number 25, and it said this. He wakes us up every Saturday on his Absolute Radio breakfast show, which is almost as good as him waking us up in real life with breakfast in bed. One can dream... ... Frank Skinner is Heat's secret crush number 25.
I mean, it's how many are in the total number? 26. It's just I don't know, Barry Hearn behind me or something. No, I'm shocked by this, and I don't say that in modesty. I'm just saying it's not my area, Allure.
Oh, I see.
My area is,
What did
Allure,
Kath
just on the east coast of Hawaii.
Was Kath pleased?
She said it to me. She could hardly get it out for laughter. She said it to me with so much scorn, based on the fact that it wouldn't bother me at all. But I mean, let's not go over the top now. But it doesn't. I don't care about the physicals really. But I mean, it's nice.
You were just below Boris Johnson,
What a night that was. I wouldn't be the first.
Rob Beckett,
Rob Beckett above or below?
below Rob Beckett, below
Wow.
Bill Bailey.
You
What?
Oh, well, he's very current, so that's fair enough. So there's a few, left fielders in there. I mean, I'm not saying I'm not pleased. Will something arrive in the post? Some sort of certification?
Yeah.
We'll see.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
Now, there's a story. You'll be aware of Dr. Samuel Johnson, the 18th century moralist, who, when he was at Oxford, was asked why he'd missed the tutorial, and he said I was sliding in Christchurch Meadow. And I took advantage of what could well be the last snow of the year to go sledging.
Oh, lovely.
Now,
you mean actual sledging, not just shouting at cricketers?
No, I didn't do any of that. We actually got the sledge out because we've had the same sledge for throughout my son's life. The sledge comes out when there's a bit of snow. We don't get that much in London, I'll tell you outsider guys. Anyway, what we didn't have was what they used to call the right kind of snow.
No. Oh, yes.
It's a bit powdery. And what I really need at this point is an Inuit thesaurus.
Yeah.
I don't know if there is such a... Is there one in the Absolute bookcase? Maybe not. Because it was always said, wasn't it, traditionally, that the Inuits have 50 words for snow.
Yes. Is this true, then?
Well, as I understand it, and I'm not an Inuit scholar... Although I did pilot a Radio 4 show about their culture called Just an Inuit. But I think they're like the Germans linguistically in that they like a big compound word.
Oh,
you know,
yes.
like the Obergruppenführer springs to mind, but I'm sure there are many.
Oh, yes.
Oh, yeah.
And so they will say things like fine powdery snow, but they'll be separate words, but they'll put it all together. So that's why I think it probably sounds like they've got a lot of words. It's just like, but anyway. So I went up on the. Me and my son went on the slope, a nearby slope.
Lovely.
And there were adults there on their own sledging.
Respect.
Oh, really?
Well, yes. My initial thought was respect for their, champion their individuality. But I thought to myself, I wouldn't put them on my babysitter list.
Yeah.
Do you know that sort of that terrible mix of good on you for being here on your own, weirdo?
Yes, I know what you mean.
That juxtaposition.
Yes.
And a lot of people snowboarding in like the proper clothes and stuff.
It reminds me, Frank, of when I saw an elderly man in quite brief shorts on the waltzer on his own. And I thought the waltzer is a strange ride to go. I mean, it was a bit odd going on your own. I just think...
It's a pity because I love the fact that people can do that. But maybe what the waltzer is, that's where you should draw the line.
Yeah, I'd say
especially in shorts.
Any activity in short shorts is perilous, but a waltzer, surely.
How Argentina won the World Cup in 1978 in those shorts, I will never know. I mean, it was almost like they were being slightly raised onto tiptoe by just wearing them.
I admired the sentiment behind it. It was exuberance. It was actually at Pride. I saw this. There was a festival. There was a sort of, and I thought there was something lovely about it. But there was something also. I just felt it's not a decision I would have made.
No.
Okay.
No, I agree with that. I find it's a bit like, when you look at a newspaper online nowadays and you find an article that's interesting, you read about 20 lines of it and then it says to read more, subscribe to.
Oh.
I find that with the lower buttock on the 1978 Argentina team, that you get the first paragraph of the buttock and then it's roughly taken away from you. Who'd have thought we'd have got here from snow? So I'm on my sledge.
Yeah.
I've looked up, and there's all these people snowboard. People who I imagine make short advertising films. Those sort of people were snowboarding. But I was on my sledge with my son, and it's basically, it's sort of. We had one great run where we spent some time in mid-air, and that's when you know your sledging's going well. When you leave the ground and you're actually in mid-air for a second or something.
Tell me, Alan Jones told me all about it.
Oh, it's like being on wheels. Anyway, it disintegrated under us on about the 8th and 9th run. I mean, it just tore apart.
The sledge?
The sledge.
It was. What was it made of?
It's a plastic sledge.
Oh.
We've had it for years, but what we were pushing it, there wasn't really enough snow on the hard, icy ground to justify it, and it just couldn't handle it. And Boz, who's had that, as long as he can remember, we've had that sledge. He turned to me, looking distraught, and he said, "We've had lots of fun on that sledge." And I thought, oh, God. And when they don't have pets, this is how you teach them about loss.
Yes.
Yeah, so that was the end of that. It was terrifying. It literally sort of ripped in half underneath us.
Well, you see, we always went wood on the sledging.
Oh, yeah, but, I'd rather it was on the slope than in the ocean. That's how I feel about the plastic.
Yes.
Yeah. Maybe Buzz could take a leaf out of Marie Kondo's book and just thank it for its service to him before putting it in the bin.
I tell you something, he wouldn't let me bin it. We had to take it home shattered as it was.
I wanted to give it a proper Viking burial.
Well, I think it's like, like when people used to have their grandparents living at home with them. It's like that. It was lovely. I've already replaced it. I'll be straight. It's something one doesn't tend to do with the grandparents. I've already bought a new one on the off chance we have a cold snap.
It's a good shout, I think.
You know,
a few weeks ago, in fact, it might even be months ago, you ran one of your obscure text-ins. What surprise things do you have on your wall? I completely forgot that in one room of our house we have a vintage wooden ski attached to our wall.
Do you?
When you say vintage, could you put a year on it?
No, I don't think I could.
Okay.
Maybe 1950s or 60s or 70s or something like that. I mean, I'm not a
When
I'm not
life
a
was
ski
generally
connoisseur.
it's more carefree then. I thought skiing would be a more carefree activity, as everything was. You've never had it so good, as Harold Macmillan said.
Oh, yeah. They just used to, they just have a cigarette going down the slope.
Oh, always a cigarette.
Yeah.
For me, the 50s will always be a family having dinner at Botlin's, sitting round a table having chips and that at dinner, and then Uncle Jeff swimming past when you could see the swimming pool through the wall in the dining thing. Oh man, that what life they lived then.
What life they lived.
And even the children were smoking at that meal.
Oh God.
But simpler times. We'll come back to it.
Frank Skinner. Absolute Radio.
Someone has pointed out, before we return to the slopes, Bilbo Bakewell had a good showing in Heat's Secret Crush. Absolute Radio, in fact, did.
Oh, did they?
Because Frank at 25 and Real Dysonator, Matt Dyson, who's one of our radio show colleagues,
yes,
in at number 2.
Yes, that was mentioned once or twice on the breakfast show, I noticed.
Oh, was it?
Yeah, they were very, very pleased about that. Anyone else from Manford must be in there?
Was Manford in there? Do we know?
We'll find out. I can't believe it.
I'm sure his people will let us know.
If we return to the slopes,
we are his people.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, Al.
We did actually hear from the outside. I don't normally get involved in the tweets, but it was brought to my attention that Dr. Alice Blackwell,
yes,
who I think might be a friend of Frank's and possibly a friend of the show by dint, tweeted the show with a photograph of a snowman, but not a snowman of any kind, a Lewis Chessman snowman.
Yes, well, I've got that photo because she sent it.
It's great.
She emailed it to me as well. She made that. She made a Lewis Chessman. The Lewis Chessman, for those of you who are new to the show, is they are a set of with probably walrus tusk.
Yes.
Chessmen that were found. That are now parts of them are in Edinburgh University. and they're Viking.
Are there some in the British Museum?
And some in the British Museum, yeah.
Yeah.
And so I've seen the British Museum. I always go and visit the Lewis Chessman when I'm in the British. In fact, I'm actually, coincidentally, this is a coincidence, I'm wearing a Lewis Chessman T-shirt today as we speak.
When it comes to the British Museum, you're something of a stage door Johnny.
I am
as
a little
believe
bit.
it used to be called.
I am. But anyway, I heard from Dr. Alice Blackwell, who works at Edinburgh. I don't know if you remember, but I was at the Edinburgh Festival. She approached me in a restaurant and said, I know you like the Lewis Chessman. Do you want to come and see our ones? So I went backstage.
Heard some invitations in my time.
Yeah, indeed.
But I didn't know she was also a sculptor. And then she sends me a photo of this fabulous Lewis Chessman snowman that she's done. She's gone for one of the berserkers. They're the ones that are biting the tops of their shield. They're so...
Oh, yes, because I like the queens, obviously.
Yes.
The queens that look faintly depressed.
Yes, they do. They look bored. They look like the men are talking.
I felt they captured me in my essence somehow.
No, they are brilliant, the Queen. There was the real people, berserkers, who... through a mixture of alcohol and general frenzy. By the time a battle started, they were like the Tasmanian Devil cartoon. They were absolutely wild and uncontrollable, and they just pushed them into the enemy and let them go mad. Hence, they're biting their shields with just fury and all that. But it is brilliant. So we've put it on our social media, I believe, and check it out. It's such a great idea. I wish you'd done the whole set. The next bit of snow, let's try and let's see if how many of our listeners can assemble them. Or what else could you make them out of?
Oh.
Angel Delight?
No.
No, you're probably right.
Frank Skinner.
Absolute Radio.
Absolute Radio.
Frank, you were referencing Butlins earlier.
I was, yeah.
And Kev Cameron has got in touch and has enjoyed your memory because he obviously recalls going to Skegness every year when he was a kid. My 84-year-old mother still has some cutlery in the drawer, spoons with Butlins engraved on them.
That was a good theft, wasn't it? Because now that feels really cool.
What else was a good theft? Text in on 81215.
Did any of his relatives swim past while they were doing that? I'd love to know.
Actually, Kev Cameron has reminded me of something. This is a bit whatever happened to.
Yeah.
Sort of cutlery as memorabilia. Like everyone had a spoon or something in the drawer which had something on it, engraved on it, or was from somewhere.
Yes, there used to be little aeroplane salt and pepper containers on Virgin Air, and a lot of those went missing, I think.
Yeah, and let's not talk about the sleep suits.
I don't really see that as stealing, though. It's sort of collecting. Would you agree with that?
Al?
Liberating.
Yeah, okay.
I want to ask you something. I was just going to say, because while we're on the subject of snow, did you see, both of you, the pictures of the snow angel? I say the snow angel because, I mean, it was an epic sculpture. It really was. Did you see it, Al?
Yeah.
This artist, he spent 4 hours creating this snow angel sculpture.
I have to say, it looks like it took longer. It's a brilliant thing. My son did a snow angel when we went on the sledging thing. There wasn't enough snow, and he just created a few scratches on the floor. But that one is like a statue. It's unbelievable.
10 foot wide.
You are. Oh, sorry, everyone.
Extraordinary. On top of the well, it's in the is it? I can never say it. Do you say Malvern?
Yes, Malvern. Yeah,
thank you. Malvern Hills. That's your manor, which is why I asked.
It's not far from. I remember going to see the Scottish play in Malvern, and it was a matinee.
Now you're in my manor.
It was a matinee, and lots of school parties there. And you know is this a dagger which I see before me? Its handle turned toward my hand. That moment They had that when Macbeth thinks he can see this dagger, and as he starts to hallucinate, and a kid behind me said, "They should have had one on a string." Really quite loudly. And it was one of those performances when it was just packed with kids, and oh man. But anyway, it was. I'm sure many of them have gone on to be Shakespeare scholars.
I would happily buy a book called Things Children Have Shouted Out at Shakespeare Plays, because I once had a school trip and one of the kids shouted out when Romeo drank the poison, "Cheers, mate."
If you've been at a Shakespeare performance where children have called anything out, let us know on 8, 12, 15. Whimsical Shakespearean audience remarks. Open brackets, junior, close brackets.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
This is Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio with Emily Dean and Alan Cochrane. You can text the show on 8 12 15. Follow the show on Twitter and Instagram at Frank on the Radio, or email the show via the Absolute Radio website. I think this morning's texting is things children have called out during Shakespeare performances. It's been quiet so far.
We've had one.
Oh, yeah.
It's not specifically a child, but it is a Shakespeare heckle. So I think we'll let it in.
OK, let's hear it.
What does the vote say, Alan?
Yeah, let's let it in.
OK. And FS is cool with it, so let's go. Mr. B, not a child, but when performing for a touring Shakespeare company, can I say I love you already, Mr. B?
Yeah.
In a previous life in Lichfield, there was always a fella who sat in the front row following the script from a works of Shakespeare.
Yeah, I've seen people
as
do
we
that.
performed. He would suddenly scramble about the pages whenever I'd failed to learn lines.
Oh, that is terrible, isn't it? That's sort of just a prompt, just turning up.
Yeah. Also difficult because most of them there's some cutting involved in, like, you can't do the entire show all the time, can you?
No, also, it reminds you of, I see people at cricket sometimes with a scorebook keeping the actual score themselves.
I was in an amateur production of Romeo and Juliet, and the lad playing Tybalt, Simon, was quite athletic and gymnastic. He was a dancer. So it had quite a violent stabbing of Tybalt scene in it. Spoiler alert for anybody that doesn't know the show. On one night, I killed him, and an old lady in the audience went, "Oh, there was no need for that." Which I think would have altered the course of the play if we hadn't done it. But
I think she probably... 1 night a week at Shakespeare, 5 nights a week at wrestling. That's how I would see her social life. When I used to go to live wrestling, I was shocked. I saw an old woman remove a hat pin and just stick it in a wrestler's back when he was lying on the floor. I mean, another woman jumped up and put a cigarette out on a wrestler's back.
oh, that's not nice, is it?
Yeah, God, it was like, you know when the women used to knit at the guillotine? It had that kind of feel to it. I suppose there was very little expression for oppressed women then. There wasn't really, so that was how they did it. They put cigarettes out on male wrestlers.
Yeah, those were the days.
Yeah.
With 1, 2, 3.
Quicker.
Can I just say, this is obviously something... because 1, 2, 3 has said, on a school trip, my friend cheered when Juliet swallowed the poison. The audience chuckled gently. We were so proud of our peer.
Excellent.
Well, I saw The Merchant of Venice at Birmingham Repertory Theatre. Not the Rep, the big one, but there's a smaller, older one called Birmingham Repertory Theatre. I think Olivier might have been in it.
Lovely.
Not when I saw it. And I saw them do The Merchant of Venice, and at the end, the curtain came down when the guy was doing his closing speech.
Oh.
And it stopped. When they realised their mistake, they stopped at waist level. And he still had some more to do. So he did a lot of leg acting, knowing that his legs were visible. It was really marvellous.
I love that actor. He's such a pro.
Well, he wasn't. He was an amateur. in every aspect, but I did respect him for really trying to rescue what was already. He'd also heftily kicked a hairpiece that had fallen off Portia sometime earlier, as if we might not notice, those who watched. Oh, it's an endless source of... I think I'll write a play about a Shakespeare play being done. And
that's a good idea.
Yeah. I'll get on... I'll wait at the end of the show.
Frank Skinner.
Absolute Radio.
Can we return to Ed Elliott, the sculptor, the snow sculptor?
Snow sculptor Ed.
So it's 10-foot snow angel.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
He used a small knife. And have you seen this thing? It's an absolute masterpiece.
It is. There are pictures of it available. It's probably a bit frustrating us talking about it.
Although, one thing I would say, I don't know what you boys think, it felt, how can I put this? I mean, it felt very testosterone-y, this angel. I see angels as quite sort of flighty, not of this earth.
They're certainly flighty.
This was no Tinkerbell, this angel. I mean, it looked like Ross Kemp with wings.
Yes. Well, I like the butch angel look. I don't know if you've seen. I don't know if you've seen.
I read that online.
Have you seen Wim Wenders' Wings of Desire? The angels in that are quite sturdy. In fact, it turns out, and I don't want to do spoilers, but I don't suppose you'll be racing off to your blockbusters to get this out. That
no, because the last one closed in 1983.
It turns out that Peter Falk, not acting, but Peter Falk, we discover is an angel.
Oh.
That's something we didn't know.
Oh.
Yeah.
The actual Peter Falk.
The actual Peter Falk. One of the angels goes along to filming of Columbo, and it transpires that Peter Falk is an angel in real life. Yeah. Who knew, I hear you say.
So that might be up there with as big a spoiler as Romeo killing Tybalt.
I know, yeah, we've been bad this morning. I better avoid. I better avoid WandaVision. Have you seen WandaVision?
No.
Do you know?
That.
No.
It's on Disney Plus. I know I'm probably not allowed to mention Disney Plus because I believe Jason Manford's show is sponsored by it, so that probably means I need to keep my nose out of his business. But I love WandaVision. Can I tell you, it's the best.
Is it?
Oh, man. I really super recommend it to anyone. It's so phenomenally
What is it, a cartoon?
clever. No. Oh, no.
I think it's a sitcom with somebody with a funny face.
Well, it is, and maybe it isn't.
Oh, the mystery of it.
Yeah. It's about Wanda Maximoff from the Avengers and Vision from the Avengers, and they marry.
Oh,
Nope, no clearer.
of course it is.
Well, you're
Are
probably
the Avengers Marvel people?
Yes.
Oh, God.
No, you're thinking that, but I think Kath likes this as well. You don't have to be a superhero thing. If you stick with it, it is so brilliantly clever. Anyway.
Okay.
How did we get to that?
I'm getting old, dear, to stick with it.
And also Netflix are putting the price up, so you might be glad at Disney Plus the way things are going.
Good point.
Here's a question. What I love about the snow sculpture at Elliott and about all ice sculpture... do you remember someone sent into this show about 3 weeks ago? I don't want to blow my own trumpet, not with my back. But somebody said...
Sorry, Al.
Somebody said, this is too good for throwaway stuff. You should be writing some of this down. I can't remember what joke he'd referred to. I think it was the idea of having, when I found out how big the nasal cavity was, it was about celebrities having forever a straw stuck in their nose that they could pull down like an attic ladder for drug taking. Anyway...
Yeah.
What I like about the snow sculptor is the idea of its disposability, that someone puts their talent into that and then it's gone. But I've got a question, which I think is quite a major question, which I think will change the lives of a lot of people listening. I'll ask it after this.
Frank Skinner.
Absolute Radio.
Yes, here's my question about Ed Elliott.
The sculptor.
The sculptor. There's something, I think, for me, the excitement of the snow sculpting is the throwaway element of it. You take Dr. Alice Blackwell, she's done that fantastic chess piece knowing that she could get up the next morning and it's gone.
Yeah.
And I think Ed prides himself on that, but he's taken very nice photographs of his snow angel. Once you've taken photographs of it, have you destroyed the throwaway art element?
I see. This is almost like if a tree falls and no one hears it question, isn't it?
No, it's not like that. For goodness sake, what's the frequency, Kenneth?
Well, it's. I would agree with you in the all attachment is misery sense. Yes, it's still Absolute Radio. It's a very Buddhist thing that he's done. He's allowed to commemorate the moment at which he created it, and he's allowed it to dissolve and pass.
Yeah, but once he's photographed it, there's no dissolving anymore, really.
I would just challenge one thing in the article I read, which said that he risked frostbite. And I thought, well, not hugely. He could have just gone in.
Yeah, it took him 10 minutes. There's 2 hours.
It's not, I may be some time.
It's not Serrano Fines, is it?
No. Do you know
just
Serrano
go home
Fines?
and have a hot chocolate.
Do you know Serrano Fines? No, I'm not parking next to his house. Yes, he's done a great job, and it's a beautiful thing. He does also say, as an artist, and I always worry when people say anything with their profession and the words as an before it. I don't think I've ever said, I'm about to say in inverted commas, as a comedian in my life.
No.
As an actor is something you hear quite a lot. Well, the thing is, as an actor,
No, what you get is I an actor.
Well, you don't hear that very often, to be fair. Anyway, it's a lovely thing, and if we get any more snow, I shall be out there, and I'll be. I'm thinking Smurf for mine.
I really feel we must share some of these people shouting out during Shakespeare plays.
Oh, well, yeah, I'm all for that.
We've had...
Not for the shouting out, but for the hearing about it.
And it's specifically Shakespeare, we should say.
Oh, yeah.
Chris Branch, I was performing A Midsummer Night's Dream at the Manchester Royal Exchange in 2012.
I love it so far, Chris.
And as Quince was casting the play within the play, a man let out an angry and frustrated yell of, "More lies!" from the stalls.
Wow.
Like he was hoping for something more factual at the theatre.
Do you think he was making a point about the nature of theatre? That the fact there was a play within a play, it was like a new layer of falsehood.
The deception had gone too far for him.
That is a great heckle.
We've also had...
Perhaps
Go on, Al.
he just found out that his relationship was built on lies and then went to the theatre. Oh, more lies.
Yeah, exactly.
Ellis Crees has said death scene in Macbeth, impressive sword fight, collapse and die, child, I can see him breathing.
Oh, no. I mean, what do they expect, these people? I tell you why I said specifically Shakespeare as well, is that because the formality of Shakespeare to be shattered, there's something awful about it, but also something slightly brilliant. So, Al, what's up?
What's
not
up?
much. Obviously not much, because like everybody else, we're
staying in a bit. Yeah,
staying in, going for a walk, that sort of stuff. But I'm a big fan of trying to control the controllables. So I've been cooking, because that's a thing that you can have a go at yourself, isn't it? You don't
Is this a thing that you did already, or something you've developed in?
I didn't do that much, but I've started using recipes a bit more. But I've, to quote Frank Spencer, I've been in a bit of trouble. I've had a bit of equipment failure. I've been baking things, not baking things, but I put some stuff in the oven, and then I got it out, and it was in, do you know, like a sort of earthenware dish, like, rather than a metal roasting tray.
Very artisan.
The artisan
more like a Le
terracotta?
Creuset type.
Yeah.
Yeah, that sort
I
of.
don't know what that is, but you mean they're a sort of reddy orange?
You do know the
Yeah.
Le Creuset. I've told you, it's that orange colour casserole dish.
Well, this one's a creamy colour, and it may not be that particular brand. It might be a sort of a rip-off. I don't know, but it's
I
possible.
suspect it is, yeah.
Anyway, I had some stuff in there. I don't know what it was, wedges or a burger or whatever. And those trays get
Said you were
so
cooking.
hot.
He started this by saying I've been branching out in the cooking of wedges.
Well, I have also started making lasagnas properly.
Whoa.
Sounds
Yeah,
like
I
you're
was
running a
very pleased.
fast food cafe.
Life
Anyway,
is a cold lasagna.
I happened to be on the phone on hands-free, and I opened the oven, put the oven glove on, and lifted out the Le Creuset tray, Le Creuset style tray, and I had oven glove equipment failure because as I was on the phone, I just felt incredible. It was just as if I'd put my hand on the tray with no glove on whatsoever, and I think I burnt every bit of fingerprint off my thumbprint. What is the term? And I couldn't yell because I was on the phone, so I just had to sort of brave it out. And you'd think that would.
No, whoa.
I don't understand. Is it the gaping shark glove? Is that what you favour?
Or did you go
No,
alligator?
It's actually a cloth oven glove, but very thick. Like they work on all the other
But
oven
I don't
trays that we've
understand.
got.
How did that happen?
Me neither. It was very confusing, and I was furious and in pain. And you'd think that would be the end of it, but it happened to me again this week. It's twice.
With the same oven glove?
With the same oven glove.
You want to
and
get
kinda
shots
think,
of that glove.
Could
You
it
think-
be any chance that it could be a tea towel you're using?
It does make me wonder, because it is the ultimate you only had one job. The oven glove.
Well,
I'm not using
exactly.
it. It's not a boxing glove. It's not a ski glove.
I
or a
have used
cycling
them.
glove.
I have used them as impromptu saddlebags when I was a kid.
I find it very impressive, nay confusing, when you say, I couldn't scream because I was on the phone.
Yeah.
Like that's ever stopped me.
Well, it depends who you're on the phone to, really.
Yeah, it was my manager. I don't want him hearing the screaming, not during these difficult
not
times.
again. Give him a day off, Al, from the screaming. What I don't understand. Have you investigated the oven gloves?
I think it's the tray gets so hot. That's the only conclusion I can come
but
up with.
surely an oven glove, you should be able to pick up a glowing ingot.
You
Where
think?
did you get that oven glove, Al?
Good question. A
Marvellous.
gift from my
I'm just saying,
brother-in-law.
is anything above 99p in the store
The
you got
line,
it
it's
from?
just the line.
I just want to check.
No, well, it's if anyone's listening, don't check your oven gloves. That's, I think, the moral of this.
Don't buy them from the pound shop.
Don't. Well, I think you could probably wear two pairs.
Yeah.
That's a good idea.
Yeah, why not? Or you could just fold the one pair and take it out one-handed.
It's hard, isn't it?
It's so hard cooking.
Frank Skinner. Frank Skinner.
Absolute Radio.
Absolute Radio.
Sorry, we were just talking about John Daniel, who I'd completely forgotten existed, but apparently was a chimpanzee. Is that right?
He was a chimpanzee and he was
There was
called
pictures
John
of him,
Daniel.
wasn't there, with people.
He was,
He lived at a Eton or something like that.
he
actually.
drank tea, he went
Yeah.
to school, he was very humanised, he was very cruel.
Anyway, the reason we're on the
In
subject...
1918.
The reason we're on the subject of John Daniel is I had a fantastic letter from Roxy Elgar, who lives in Inverness, and she... this is difficult because we don't read out praise, but she's very nice about the show indeed. And she knows all the in-jokes. She knows more of the in-jokes on the show than I know. And she's done an illustration, which we'll put on our social media, which she's done a drawing of all the different things on the show, like who's in the so-and-so chair and
It's
etc.
absolutely brilliant.
It is
It's
brilliant.
great.
Well
It's almost
done.
like a mind map of this show or something.
It
isn't
is.
It?
It's exactly that. And she's 18, Roxy, but she's still written a letter. Congratulations on that. And she makes cakes as well. If you're living in Inverness, incidentally, or in the area, cakesbyrocks.co.uk. You can get yourself a fancy. If her cakes are anything like her artwork, I imagine they're absolutely amazing. So it's really nice to hear from you, and thanks for all the lovely things you say. And good luck to Mooney as well, who's a dog, who I think she met at a mass wedding. So well done, Roxy Elgar. What else?
Well, we've had all sorts of our readers getting in touch regarding, I'm calling them Shakespeare heckles.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Teresa Fortune. My mum went to a matinee to see Simon Cadell play Hamlet in Birmingham.
I saw Simon Cadell play Hamlet in Birmingham.
Did you? Well,
Snap.
I bet you didn't do... Did you?
No, I was just saying that Frank is saying snap.
Oh, I thought you were as well. Obviously, some schoolboy took the opportunity to shout out, "Heidi, hi!"
Yeah, of
at
course.
the beginning of his first soliloquy.
Yes. I like the soliloquy.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah,
I didn't say soliloquy.
He was very good. Simon Cadell, I should say, played the sort of the manager of Mapling's
Yes, what was his
holiday
name?
camp.
Yeah,
Geoffrey,
very good.
I think. Was it
Yeah.
Geoffrey? I got no idea. It was. Ruth Maddox was. I always remember Kath, my partner, telling me that she only had 2 crushes when she was a child: one on Richard Bryars and one on Ruth Maddox.
Richard Bryars. Oh, I think Richard
A lot of
O'Sullivan.
people say Ruth Maddox when I tell them that, but not you. You're all right with that.
We've had some other good Shakespeare ones.
Oh, yeah?
Oh, I'm a big fan of the 666 one.
Oh, go on.
During a performance of Richard III at Alexandra Palace, a man shouted, "Why are you laughing? It's not psychologically true," on repeat. Until he was removed by security. And that's from Sally Vanderpump.
I know her. She's lovely. Hello.
Do you?
Yeah, I know who she is.
Yeah. Oh, I fancy that. Was she part of Vanderpump Generator, the band?
No.
Okay.
Not everything's connected to a weird band.
Well, let's see, shall we? Name something. Come on.
I'll tell you what I would like to end with.
Go on.
Is Hazelland. During a performance of A Midsummer Night's Dream at Ipswich's Civic Hall, my 4-year-old daughter shouted out at an over-enthusiastic Nick Bottom, who was playing the main role of Pyramus at the time, "Oh, calm down, Bottom."
This isn't really a heckle, it's a note. It's actually a note, like a director might give. Oh, dear.
I enjoyed these enormously.
Did you see my bottom in Regent's Park?
Seriously?
No, not seriously. Let's move on. Thank you so much for listening to us today. I thank for everyone who's contributed with some fabulous stuff from our readers, and of course from Roxy Elgar, who sent the fab a drawing which we've put on our social media of what the show is in many ways. So look, if the good Lord spares us and the creeks don't rise, we'll be back again this time next week. Now get in.
This is Frank Skinner. This is
Absolute Radio.